My name is Austin Taylor. For my PR case analysis, I'm going to be talking about a famous athlete who I feel like a lot of people know about, but more importantly, I feel like fellow frustrated Cleveland Browns fans will know. I'm going to be talking about Johnny Manziel. So, I was 7 years old at the time. Johnny Manziel wins the Heisman as a freshman. First freshman to win the Heisman Trophy. That was awesome. Like, watching this guy on TV, he was a superstar in college. I wanted to play football. I wanted to be like Johnny Manziel. Literally public figure number one for any young football fan who was watching college football. Then TMZ, Sports Illustrated, they all start releasing these things about him getting arrested and ushered out of parties. Just terrible look for this guy personally. Huge question marks leading up to the draft. That doesn't stop the Cleveland Browns from selecting him in the first round. I think it was later half of the first round. He wasn't like a top 5 pick or anything. He slipped, but in my opinion, he didn't slip enough. This guy really paid no consequences to, violating the NCAA's rules on using his NIL to get money. And I also like this situation because now that the rules have changed, imagine if this guy was in college, like, down the road, or if these rules had been changed earlier. Because that's also, like, that video game for the college football, it just came back last year. And, we had a whole decade of not having that. And we had a whole decade of players suffering because of that. I think Johnny Manziel's problems extend past the monetary aspect, but still, I feel like his career may have gone differently had he not been suspended for that. Had, he never had that negative connotation surrounding his character, because, he goes up on the stage and he throws up the money sign. That was his whole persona, because he was, rebelling against the rules at the time, and he was getting fines and suspensions. And then nothing serious ever really happens until finally he's cut from the Browns. Major punch in the gut. It doesn't work out for him. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I feel like everyone should know about this already. I don't know. Anywho, I call this a major PR failure because, for reference, the Sporting News posted, I feel like this was when this really ended it. He gets a concussion, and rather than being there with the team during his concussion protocol, he's caught under a disguise in Las Vegas. And a year before that as well, he was in rehab for 10 weeks. And no one ever really did a deep dive on this stuff. They just said, yeah, Johnny Manziel is a problem child. We're going to try and get his life straight so he can return to the field. I know that the NFL's a business, but the PR, they were all just, yeah, he's going to play. He's going to play. You just got to wait. They never really explained how far these addictions went, or how long they've been going on. Now that it's 10 years in the past, Johnny Manziel himself is coming out in interviews and telling us how his college went. And he's explaining, the loopholes that everyone was going through to make sure he was playing and still in the spotlight. And him personally, he never had to pay any consequences or pay his dues because everyone just wanted to see him play. And that was the story in the NFL as well. And he also went out to say that, the only support he had was a fellow Cleveland Brown, Josh Gordon. I love Josh Gordon. He could have been an amazing wide receiver, but I'm not talking about him right now. I'm just saying that Josh Gordon's career also didn't pan out. That's important to know. Johnny Manziel, whose career didn't pan out, was supported by Josh Gordon, who was another troublesome player. I feel like PR should have addressed what was going on, more serious consequences, wake this guy up from whatever reality he was living in. And I feel like more people should have rallied behind him rather than everyone just accepting the negative connotation. That's my 5 minutes on Johnny Manziel.